MRW, up or down, balls up, balls down, POD.
Which side is the sun, man? Are we serving?
Wait, which way is up?
Spin the Racket.
Welcome back to Spin the Racket, the recreational tennis pod, covering everything from the Pro Tour to the everyday league player. I'm your boy G.
And I'm Lou.
If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe, like, follow button, send this to your group chat, share a little bit more about what's going on with Spin the Racket here. But let's go ahead and get into it. Lou, what's been going on with you?
G, it's been a crazy past few weeks, hasn't it?
It has.
Spin the Racket feels like it's just it's synonymous now to everything that we're doing, and I feel like it's taken over. It's taken over our lives for a good reason. So over the past few weeks, we did our first Spin the Racket trip to RacquetX down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Got out of the group chat.
Attended the Intense Draft.
That's right.
We have had more guests. We've come out with more collabs. On social media, we now have our collab with Deuce live on their website. Like we came up with a T-shirt. We attended a tennis conference. We attended the first tennis draft, and we are now cooking up a lot of things for the summer. So there's a lot going on with me. How about yourself?
There is a lot going on. Yeah, it is cool to see us bring together a lot of the podcast guests we've had, a lot of the friends we've started to make here. You think about the intense interviews we had with like Annabelle and JY and us going to the draft in Fort Lauderdale was awesome. And then you mentioned Deuce, obviously with Kevin Perkins, and Net Game Tennis with Marcus Gilly. I mean, so just all of those like groups coming together. It's kind of cool. Like I feel like we're like truly a part of that community and kind of building our own platform here.
Yeah, it's becoming it's not just kind of segmented out where, I mean, we're connecting with folks in Atlanta, but tennis is like you start to find out that everyone knows everyone in tennis. It's like, oh, you know them? Oh yeah, I know them too. And it's like, oh my gosh. I think that we had that full circle moment attending the Intense Draft and RacquetX, and it's like you see like all the creators just like coming from Indian Wells, going to the Miami Open. It's just like a full swing, the double sunshine, right? So it was cool. I was wondering why Fort Lauderdale, but it made a lot of sense with everything going on. The following week was Miami Open. I think tennis is such it's worldwide, but it's also a small community when you think about it. So people that are in the industry or people that are in the community, they'll know each other no matter where they're from or where they're currently located. We met Jonathan Stokey, for example. I found out one of my teammates like religiously watches his videos. He was like the other day he asked me, he was like, man, I've been watching a lot of you met him, Craig. So he was like, yeah, I've been watching a lot of Jonathan Stokey. You ever heard of the guy? And I'm like, yeah, I met him in Fort Lauderdale at RacquetX. He was like, oh, no way. So small world, right?
That is a small world. No, it's pretty cool. And yeah, for those of you who haven't followed along, we did post a little recap of RacquetX on IG and TikTok for you to check out. But essentially, I mean, how would you describe it, Lou? I see it as like almost like a festival of racket sports, basically. You got like tennis and pickleball and padel, just all peacefully coexisting at this conference. You have vendors, you got players. It was at that convention center in Fort Lauderdale and a pretty packed weekend.
Yeah, it's a racket sports convention, so it's like it's everything racket sports and everything that comes with that. We saw people there that do like mobile court surfaces. We saw people that do like the roofs, for like roofing like a court. Like there's a lot of different things that go into the life of tennis. There's a lot of apps too. People from like different apps. I know like we use Play by Point, for example. I think they were there. I don't know if what was it? I think it's your Find Your Court or whatever, Find Your Serve. So I don't know if Swing Vision was there, but it's like everything around the world of tennis was pretty much there. So it was a little congregation of everything racket sports. And yeah, we saw Padel and pickleball as well. So it is cool.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. And to your point, I think the summer is going to be busy. Obviously, we have some stuff coming up with Intense this summer too. So pretty pumped to see some of the players that we met at the conference in person again and hanging out there.
Yeah, more in person, definitely. We have the City Tennis Open May 1st through the 3rd coming up. I know we've already promoted that across the socials. We're giving away a racket.
That's right.
We do, like,
A
you
full racket.
understand. We came up with a t-shirt, and now we're giving away a racket in partnership with Premier Racquet Sports. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
we're doing it all. Like, if you can't think of it, we're probably already like, it's already in the works. You know what I mean?
It's happening. We're in motion. We're in motion. Yeah. And shout
Yeah.
out to Corey Matney at Premier Racquet Sports. It's his birthday today. So it's
Yeah,
happy birthday,
as
Corey.
we're filming, it's his birthday, so pretty cool moment, right?
It is. It is. But yeah, no, check out that giveaway. As Luis mentioned, we have a Wilson Blade version 10 that we're giving away for free.
Brand new.
So follow us, follow Premier Racquet Sports. There's some other rules on the post there, but go ahead and enter that drawing. Get that racket. Get that new stick.
Get that new stick. That's right. So switching gears here, obviously, we cover everything from the Pro Tour to the league player. But the Pro Tour recently has been in shambles a little bit over a little announcement that would you want to share with us what's going on?
Just a little announcement, but yeah, no,
Little.
the breaking news today, unfortunately, Carlos Alcaraz has officially withdrawn from both Rome and Roland Garros due to that right wrist injury. So unfortunately, the two-time defending champion at Roland Garros is out.
Yeah. It just your heart sets in a little bit, when you hear that. And I couldn't empathize more, having, gone through 2 years of wrist injury over wrist injury and just dealing with that. I could only imagine what the guy's going through, and I wonder if that was part of the reason why he didn't do so well in Indian Wells in Miami. If this had been, carrying along since the beginning of the year,
Right.
and or maybe the past month or so, and it played a part into. I mean, I'll be honest, like, when I had a wrist injury, it affected me psychologically. So,
Mhm.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
human too. So I wonder if that's also part of what was happening there.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely got to wonder. And obviously, even with Monte Carlo and him going up against Sinner there, I think he mentioned, like, in one of the lead up interviews, like, yeah, Sinner's going to win this and be number one again. And it's like, it's kind of a strange comment to make when you're, supposed to be competing at the top of your game, best level, but maybe that physical ailment was on his mind.
100%. Yeah. And I mean, in hindsight, like, this dude is, has won Madrid in 22, in 23. Like you said, back to back Roland Garros. Like, he is, in a way, just forfeiting the part of the season that typically gives him the best yield, with the most points that he has to protect, right?
Right.
So it's
a bummer. I mean, he's obviously fun to watch. I think, you think about Yannick too, and his game. Obviously, he's just unstoppable right now. And you think about him having to defend points, him being Carlos having to defend those points. He loses those points. So, I mean, obviously going to have a drop somehow. I don't know if it will drop him out of the top two or not, but it definitely will ding him from that standpoint as well. And I think it just, like, hurts for the fans too, right? I mean, obviously we always look up to these big epic battles with Yannick and Carlitos in the final, and now obviously don't have that. I wonder if Sinner's just like, go ahead and run me my trophy real quick, just like, who knows what happened.
Yeah, to your point, like, it's one of those things. I heard it a few years back when Carlos was just, maybe a couple years back. I heard someone said that his worst enemy or his biggest opponent was not another player, but a potential injury. And we're
Yeah.
starting to see this with a lot of players, right? A lot of withdrawal, a lot of retirement, sorry, and a bit of a pattern of injury and overplay. I know we've had in the past in one of our episodes debated, whether the 3 out of 5 format is beneficial still for players that are playing, so deep into such a large tournament like Roland Garros. That's been one of those things. But
Yeah.
Sinner is also not bulletproof. He's had his issues with his elbow too.
That's true.
So
That's true.
it's one of those things, like, these guys are still human. They're still prone to injury, and at some point, like, what's the best strategy to go about this? To
Yeah.
protect points, to keep ranking, to enjoy the game of tennis, for Carlos to keep smiling when he's playing.
Yeah. That's like the coolest thing to watch. He's just like having a blast out there every time he plays. And yeah, I mean, he's only 22, Lou. It's just crazy. Like, he's having these injuries this early in his career, this young. And yeah, to your point, like, is the body going to hold up?
Yeah. I mean, Sinner's 23 and it's the same thing. So I think I saw an interview with Andy Murray one time, and he was like, look, it doesn't just take hard work. It's some of these guys also kind of have to be a little bit genetically freaks of nature, right? To be
Yeah.
able to withstand the tour year over year for such long careers. That's why all the more impressive how, like, Djokovic has just been able to stay as healthy as he has been. Obviously, yeah, at his current age, whatever, man. Like, the dude's got, what, 15, 16 years on them.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
I mean, tell me that in 15 years, Alcaraz and Sinner are going to be somewhat in the same shape that Djokovic is. Is that a guarantee? Is that possible?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's the question. That's the question. It's interesting because, you look at the point differential. I talked about, obviously, Carlos losing some points with this clay swing. Sinner, we kind of forget he had that period early last year where he had to sit out for that doping ban, if you remember, kind of early in the year, like February
Yeah.
to May timeframe. And so, he didn't
That was
play
last
Indian
year, right?
Wells. Yeah, he didn't play Indian Wells, he didn't play Miami, didn't play Monte Carlo or Madrid. And so he's already won 3 of the 4 tournaments I just named. So just racking up all these extra points. Carlos is not playing Madrid. So it's just like, man, is the gap going to be like insanely large when Carlos does return? Like, is it going to be like insurmountable where he can't get to number 1 for the rest of the year or not? Like, I don't know. It's going to be a lot up there for them to go after.
Yeah, I mean, there's still, even after Roland Garros, there's obviously 2 more majors, right? There's a lot there. I guess we'll see. Hopefully it's not one of those where, like, it keeps extending. I mean, we're already seeing it, right? Where he was out of Madrid and now it's like Rome and Roland Garros. Hopefully that's where the train stops.
Yeah.
And he can come back, and he comes back in good shape, and it serves him in another way to find a different part of his game, or maybe use that as a learning experience to get stronger mentally, right? So I mean, I'm curious to see what happens with, like, Holger Rune in this scenario, right? He tore his Achilles like last year, and I know that Patrick Mouratoglou was talking about how that is going to affect him mentally, and he thinks he's going to come back a lot more mature as a player. He obviously has the shots, but it's like, can he come back with a different mindset, approaching the game in a different way? How will that show up in his game? So I'm curious to see what happens with Carlos there, because obviously whatever Yannick did while he was suspended worked, right? It's like he didn't just come back as the same Yannick. He came back, like, stronger and super dominant. So again, it's all what you make of it. It's an opportunity to work in other areas of life.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't see where you were going there with the Holger Rune tangent, but I think I get it now.
I brought it around. I brought it around.
How to recover from injury. I was like, yeah, like, I feel like these other players should be saying, okay, like, Carlos isn't in, like, Zverev, like, where are you at? FAA, like, Shelton, like, are y'all stepping up, or are they just like, well, I don't know. I mean, I feel like Shelton always is just like ready to ball. He's gonna get out there and like I can compete and I
he
can
has
win.
been stepping up, but you can only the trajectory is there. It's just you got to give it time.
Yeah, but the other players I just don't know if they're just resigned to like Sinner and Alcaraz winning everything, and it's just like, well, if I can make it to a semi, I'm happy. Versus like, I want the trophy.
Yeah, look, this might be Zverev's like one and only opportunity to just like seize the moment, right? Like you never know what's
Maybe.
going to happen in tennis. What kind of upset is going to happen? So,
True.
this might be it, dude.
It's true. It's true. I know.
Because that gap is like you understand, like the gap between us and Zverev in points is bigger. Smaller than the gap between Zverev and Carlos.
Yeah, that's insane.
So like
practically
it's a pretty crazy
Sasha.
gap. So
yeah, just get him on our Alta team at this point.
that'd be sick.
Maybe.
Dude, that'd be so sick.
Not that bad. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, obviously, keeping a close eye on these lead up tournaments to the French Open. We'll definitely have a French Open predictions episode in a few weeks here. Have our top picks. We're always right on the picks. So you got to listen closely to that. But Madrid Open's going on right now. It's been fun to watch. I've watched maybe a couple of days. I haven't watched since the beginning, but I did catch a little bit today. I saw my boy Shelton lose in 3 sets, which just hurts my heart. It was a tight match. Yeah. But there are some cool rising stars though that we're seeing up in the Madrid Open. We got to talk about the boy Rafa Hodar. What do you think?
See, the first time I heard the name Rafa Hodar was actually on our episode with James Hopper, where he mentioned, hey, my boy, I'm grinding some challengers and futures with my boy Rafa, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. These guys are grinding it to make it to the top,
right.
top 100. Yeah, Hop just like, he was just dropping names. And I was like, oh, okay. For some reason, his name just kind of stayed in my mind. And I've been seeing over the past few weeks. And I was like, it is crazy how this is the same guy that we were just talking about a few months ago. And it's like, boom, it's out of nowhere, right? Like how you can have such a upward trajectory in just months if everything clicks. So I know that Hopper was talking about like when you have a run, you can change your ranking drastically and you can change your career as a tennis player. You gain access to so many different tournaments and all of a sudden you're battling it out. Like even if you lose in first round, you're clocking in way more points than you would in some of these smaller tournaments, but you gotta break through somehow. And this guy's been on a run.
Yeah, he really has. And just to give the viewers some background, I mean, Rafa Hodar, just an absolute star player at UVA. He was literally at UVA 4 months ago playing college tennis. A year ago, he was outside the top 600. Now he's number 42 in the world. Won his first ATP title in Marrakesh, made the Barcelona semis, and has won 2 matches now in this Masters 1000 in Madrid. It's so awesome to watch. Like, it's such a great story.
He just beat Demon.
Yeah.
He just beat Deminor. Like, that is insane.
I know.
I mean, I don't think that's like, clay is not Deminor's like strongest surface, right? But it's like, still, like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he just came out of nowhere and beat Deminor. Like, you just set the title, the Barcelona semis, and this is not a first round. This is a second round with Deminor. So, I mean, there is trajectory. We keep talking about it. I know I keep saying it, but there's trajectory here with Rafa Hodar. I feel like you gotta put the last name on there, otherwise, it's like, wait, hold on.
I'm calling him Rafa too. I don't know. I've been testing that out in the group chat. Some friends are like, I don't know if he's like the second Rafa, but he's good.
You gotta go with Hodar. I feel like.
We'll see how he does. Yeah, I mean, obviously, and it's just another kind of shout out to folks who are going to college tennis and then going to the ATP. Obviously, there is a real pipeline there of talented players making it and going deep. So that's very encouraging if you're a fan of the NCAA.
Yeah, I mean, Shelton's another example. So
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have the numbers right, but I'm sure if we looked at how many NCAA players are or previous NCAA players are in the top 100 right now, we'd have a pretty long list.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool to see. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm keeping a close eye on Madrid, just trying to see, what players are looking hot here, so I can make those proper predictions in a few weeks. Coco Gauff won her match pretty handedly today, the early round match. Obviously, Sinner, he dropped a set, but still won against Bonzi. Addison Keys had to pull out, unfortunately. I think she has an injury or she's sick, but she had to pull out of the Madrid Open. I think there's some other players who are looking pretty good. So there's definitely some interesting players who are trying to come up here and do something big in Madrid.
For sure. I mean, anything, again, I keep saying it, anything can happen in tennis. You just never know when when it's going to click for someone. It's like the right conditions. We've had debates about surface. We've had debates about balls and court conditions and all that stuff. But for some people, it clicks. And it's when we start seeing, especially clay and grass seasons, you start seeing the specialists, the
Yep.
people that do well in these surfaces make it deeper. And so you start having a different sort of scoreboard at the end of the day. Like the draw may look a little different, after a few rounds.
Mhm.
So I'm interested to see what happens in Madrid with Hodar, having, like, he grew up in Madrid, right?
That's right.
Yeah, grew up in Madrid, worked at as a sparring partner there, super close to it. And then one of the things I know you always highlight, G, is the fact that there's always crossovers in tennis, but I don't know that we highlight them as much as other people. But Jude Bellingham was in the crowd celebrating him. It's kind of cool to see, players from different sports just going and celebrating other folks. I know we saw in like Monaco, obviously, you have a lot of the F1 drivers there. You've always had, whenever Alcaraz is in the U.S., I feel like you always see like Jimmy Butler supporting him as well. So there's always those like cross sport collabs happening. It is pretty neat to see.
Yeah, it is. It is. I just need to make it over to Madrid. Actually, our Alta teammate is over there right now. Hans, he's watching some matches in Madrid.
How nice. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I saw on his IG. Looked like he went out to dinner somewhere pretty nice, which is cool. So I'm like, man, I need to get over there. We need to get the pod
where in Madrid?
over there.
Yeah, when in Madrid, go somewhere nice, right? Probably.
Yeah, exactly. We'll spin the racket Europe trip sometime.
There you go. So just for I guess for the listeners, what's one skill that you think translates the most on clay? Like if you thought, hey, I'm gonna get an advice to like a 3-0 player that's never played on clay, and they all of a sudden have to play on clay because the club that their opponent has clay courts. What would you tell them to like focus on?
No, I'm the worst person to ask that question to.
I know, right?
I have
Me
a
too.
terrible record on clay, so whatever I say, do as I say, not as I do.
A lot of people look at me and they think that I'm some sort of like clay specialist or whatever, and I'm like, dude, no, I grew up in hard courts. Like,
Yeah,
this is tough, especially here in the U.S. We don't play in real clay; we play on hard true, which I like to make the distinction just to kind of rub it in. But it's they're not always well maintained, and there's so many different aspects to it.
yeah. I'd say just be on your toes, because that ball, the bounce is crazy. You just never know where it's
right?
gonna
I
go.
think,
Yeah, it's gonna hit. It's gonna hit one of those lines and just like be like low and not bounce up high enough, or it may hit like a bad patch, or you may trip or something, or slip on the clay. So just like being on your toes, like having really good movement, good footwork, is probably the best you could do. And I think that's like the benefit of like growing up playing on clay. I'm a little jealous of the players that did have that advantage, and I'm just so used to the ball bounce being perfect, like on hard court, and being able to move a certain way. And so if you do train on that surface, like, man, you have such a leg up, I feel like.
You do. You could see it. You could tell when somebody's a clay player and all that stuff. It kind of shows in their game. But I mean, I'd have to second your advice to a 3-0 player. I would say movement, right? Just watch your like the clay is going to test your stamina, focus, and just your ability to move through the court. You know, you can slide on clay a lot easier. You can fall on clay a lot easier. You know, when you scramble, you switch in directions, you may just wipe out. So there's a lot of things going on there, and then the balances are always so unforgiving.
Yeah, no, they are. They are. I think that's probably the last time I fell on a court was on a clay court. I think like I tripped over because, like, you know how the lines are like raised up on the surface. I think it was like at a court that just didn't have like really good clay, and like tried to slide and just like caught and just like fell, and like such an ungrace. Like, you know, at our age, it's just like such a weird feeling to fall. You know, I'm like, I'm not.
Dude, you're telling me I fell 2 weeks ago on hard court.
What happened?
I honestly, I don't remember. I think we've had a couple falls. I've been involved in a lot of falls this season with our captain Lane, tripping him. That's also an IG as a pretty funny video. But shout out to G for putting together the memes. If you guys find any of these memes hilarious, it's all G. I have nothing to do with them. All G, just cooking it up, and incredible sense of humor here. Just a machine. But I don't know. I think it was, oh man, might have been trying to get an overhead. It was some sort of change of direction. All I know is I honestly don't remember, but I fell on my right knee and it hurt for like 10 days. Like I finally fine, but it's one of those reminders like, dang, I don't bounce back as much as I used to. Yeah. I think a lot of players would probably agree.
Yeah.
Right?
Jeez. Gotta stay on those 2 feet, Lou.
Yeah, it's tough, you know.
It is
pulling the splits. Yeah, tell my wife pulling the split skis on the tennis court, just trying to get those balls. But
that's right.
Yeah, that's part of it.
It is. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. I don't think I asked you, like, who are if you had to put together like almost like a fantasy draft, right? Of like, let's narrow it down to like 4 players. And these are the 4 players that you love to follow, like you love tracking, you love watching their game, you feel really confident about who they are, how they play, like you love their style. They're just like your people, basically. Who are the 4 players on your squad?
Dude, that's putting me on the spot. Yeah, that's tough. I think I can guess yours, but I don't even know if I can guess my own. I mean, obviously, it would be Sinner and Alcaraz. Like,
okay, you're going out.
I have an equal. Yeah, I think I have an equal appreciation for them. When they play, I don't know who to root for. It's always hard. Yeah, I don't know who to root for. I would root for either of them for different reasons. I respect them as like players and then just people. So
when you watch them
I
play
respect different aspects.
Where do you watch? Like, how do you feel when you watch them?
Conflicted. I'm like, I get upset if one of them like loses, but I also get happy if one of them wins. Like, in every point is kind of like,
wow,
you feel a little bit like guilty because like you're like, I'm rooting for this, but like he's also solid, and they're such good people and players, and I respect different things of their game, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I can relate a lot to Carlos, but I also want as a player to emulate the stability of Sinner's game. So there's obviously things to take away from both, but yeah, it's just difficult. I would say those 2, followed by Ben Shelton. I'm a big Benny Ban fan. And then the 4th one, that's a tough one, dude. I don't know that okay, let's say Draper. I'm a huge Draper fan. Jack Draper.
Okay.
Obviously, you know, kind of coming back from injury again. And yeah, I think Draper has the game to take it up a notch and really take on Alcaraz and Sinner on their best level. Is just the dude does not. Is it like a British player thing where they get injured more often? You know, you see like an Andy Murray just dealing with so much with his body over the years, and then like you're starting to see kind of the same pattern with Draper, unfortunately. So
yeah,
those are the 4 for me.
Wow. That's so interesting. Like that you like, or that you would put both Sinner and Alcaraz in your squad. I feel like when I was watching Federer, Rafa, Novak, it was I don't think I ever ran into anybody who was like, I love all three of them equally, you know? So it's kind of like a foreign thing where you have to pick. Like I was like a Rafa guy, and I was just like, no, like whenever Rafa and Federer are playing each other, I'm for Rafa. Whenever Rafa and Novak are playing each other, I'm for Rafa. So like the fact that like obviously Sinner and Alcaraz have played together so many times, and you're just like, I love them both. I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool.
Well, the thing is, I've been following both of them since since before the rivalry.
Yeah.
So the first time they played together was at Paris when they were wearing these like super cool like Nike kits. I believe is actually the same year. I think it was 2021, the same year that that I saw Alcaraz at the US Open for like 45 minutes before he retired playing the FAA. And that same year, they finally met in Paris. And I believe I still, like, from time to time, go back to that video because it's the first time you see them play each other. And it was like, it's the first time you've seen that level of tennis where they could ball. Like, it's like, commentators now, I think, overuse this term, but it's like video game tennis.
Yeah.
It felt like pinball tennis, right? So when I saw that, I knew that was going to happen. And then I see them and it's like, oh, this is amazing. I cannot wait to see these guys hit the ball against each other, for the years to come. So I kind of been part of that before it became a rivalry. So that's why I'm not biased to one or the other.
Wow. I appreciate that perspective. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. How about you? I'm curious. I can get one player. I think I can. Well, maybe two.
Okay. I will start with Shelton because that's one that we share. Like, was that one of your guests?
Yeah.
I love his energy more than anything. It reminds me. It kind of reminds me of like Rafa's like energy back in the day too, when he would play the fist pumping, the getting hype. I think Shelton's like a level above in terms of like the antics and how loud he is on court. But I love it. I love to see that passion and like that's the positive energy. That he's not someone like smashes racket and get like super upset. But it's like a lot of positive emotions, and like that's kind of how I play my game. Is just like I'm always going to come on and like fist pump, and I've like gotten a little bit calmer about that as I've gotten older. Like in my 20s, I was just like insane with that, but I've gotten more just like, okay, just be more respectful and calm there. But I like to see that on court. That passion is really cool.
Okay.
So Shelton's definitely one we share. Secondly, and it's not like a 1, 2, 3, 4 order, but also in the squad.
You like how I went by ranking?
Did you go by ranking?
I went by rank. I literally like when I kind of remember when I looked at the top 10 which was like last week, and I just kind of scanned it in my mind.
Interesting. Okay. I'm going to say Feast. Arthur Feast is also in my squad.
He's a good pick.
Again, so energy, I think he has like a huge forehand, like really big game. He doesn't seem to shy away from trying to go at the top players and like, I'm going to win. I'm going to beat you, Obviously, he's had some success coming back from that back injury. So I'm hopeful for how his tennis looks the rest of the year at least. But yeah, he's also a squad member for sure. I'll put Tommy Paul in the squad.
I see. I did not see that one coming.
Yeah. I feel like it's funny. Tommy had I'm laughing because in my group chat with some friends, there was like a period where Tommy had this like pink polo that he wore from New Balance. Like he was sponsored by them, and like I feel like they had like these like new cool fits, and like pink polo Tommy was like on fire. He was just like balling out of control. I can't remember if he like won titles during that time, but he was like definitely making like super deep runs. So we'd always just joke around
pink
like
shirt Alcaraz.
Yeah, basically. But we were just like, yo, pink polo Tommy is like, he's not here to play. He's trying to like win. And like since then, he's just been like on a tear, And obviously like he's had ups and downs more recent, but he's a dog. He likes to fight. He grinds. He's super fast. I like his game a lot. He's someone who I think if he's going to be on court, he's going to like try to win and solve it and not give up, which I respect.
He's such a dude. He's such a bro. Like And whatever New Balance is doing is obviously doing him favors because
The
like
fits are fire.
the fits are fire, right? Like
Yeah.
the dude's just been showing up, like that citrine fit that he had, the
Yeah.
lilac purple one that he had.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, whatever New Balance is
Even-
cooking up for Tommy, like just keep it going.
Yeah, and even like the camo stuff that he kind of works in, which is kind of cool because I feel like he's like a big like Fisher and stuff you'll see on his like
Yeah,
Instagram. So
yeah.
he's like that kind of like North Carolina boy, and it's just like okay, so they're like mixing in some of his personality into the fits too. So it's pretty cool. And then I got to round up my squad with Coco Gauff. I mean, she's just balling, right? I mean, she's a really great player. She's obviously won some slams already. She's a fighter. She's so young, so like this, her ceiling is just so high. And I mean, she has game, you know, like she goes out there and sure, she doesn't have like the massive serve like a Sabalenka or like, you know, maybe can't blast you off the court with her forehand, but like she's going to grind and get to every ball and make you crazy on court. But she's just only going to continue to get better. So she's a squad member.
Now I feel bad because I only named dudes and I didn't name a female, and I'm like, dang,
Okay, bro.
what is wrong with me? If I the one I guess the one player I do I'm a huge fan of Amanda Anisimova. I think she can bring it, and I am hoping for her to have like that same trajectory as Ben, that you know just tearing it up and just continuing to make progress and get there and seize something big in 2026 and on.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
I am surprised, however, that you didn't put FAA in your list. That was my other guess.
That's not a bad guess. I was wrangling between FAA and TP. I think that was like probably the one I was on the and even Tiafoe. I feel like FAA and Tiafoe are like honorable mentions for me. So I just
Bro, you got Tiafoe's fit.
I do got
and
Tiafoe's
you
fit. Why are you telling my business out here? I like the Lulu fits, okay? And I feel like the colors like go well with my skin tone. So it's just like it's perfect. I feel like he does like a trial of the fits that I want to wear, and I'm like, okay, if it looks good on him, it's gonna look good on me. And so yes, I do like a lot of Lulu fits.
So you're saying FAA don't got the fits. FAA just like he dusty on the fits.
Is he Adidas?
Adidas is like, yeah, I don't know that they're doing him like many favors, you know. Like I think they keep it on brand with like Zverev. Like he wears a lot of black and they kind of know, and he talked about it that recently where it's like, yeah, you know, they asked him how the whole collaboration happens, and he was like, well, I've been working with that team for so long, they kind of know what works and what I like.
Yeah. That's
so
true.
They're
That's
all
true.
kind of the same. But
Yeah,
I wonder if
Lulu
FAA doesn't get that same treatment.
Adidas has some work to do. I mean, Lulu is crushing the game. We talked about New Balance, like their fits are fire. Even like Wilson put together a couple of good fits for Demonor, which I was like, that's clean.
That was clean, dude. The fit in the Australian Open was like,
yeah,
I'd buy that.
Hell yeah. It's like, I don't know if I'm walking around with like Wilson clothes yet, but I mean, I have a Wilson racket.
I mean,
that's
dude,
different though. Wilson's
like,
rackets are like,
nah.
But like,
betrayal, dude.
Are the clothes like, is that kind of like wearing like K-Swiss sneakers, you know? Is it like that kind of like tier? Like, will I have enough like street cred if I wear like a Wilson?
I don't know. I think you have enough street cred if you win the match.
That's true. I can't be losing in like my new Lulu fit. I told you that too. I was like, if I wear this, like I gotta ball.
Dude, you cannot lose in an all red fit.
Right?
It's just like matched up. Tiafoe wore is.
I like this like sleeveless one, and I'm like, no, I gotta look. I can't just I can't be a scrub. I gotta dub.
I mean, when on the mic.
That's right. I'm in the studio.
You gotta spit.
I'm in the studio.
That's funny. No, I mean, that's an interesting one. I could see it. Obviously, Feast is tearing it up right now. That dude is he uses a lot of the crowd energy, and he's just very energetic as well. You have a thing for energetic people. Mm-hmm.
Bro, you know I'm high energy all the time. I don't need coffee.
Yeah.
I don't need that caffeine.
Don't give G a coffee. Don't if you're out there, if you're listening, do not ever buy him a coffee. You know, he'll act up.
I'll act up. Trying to explode my heart
in a good way. Whoa.
That's right.
Yeah, no, for sure. Don't buy him a coffee. And if you do, it's decaf.
Exactly. That's keep me down. Oh my gosh. But yeah, no, I mean, I think those are okay. So it's good to know. Now I know we got your squad on the record. I'm gonna know who to clown you on if they lose, who to support you with if you need that kind of reassurance. Obviously, you didn't go like too far off. I mean, Sinner and Alcaraz, like you're gonna be fine. Like, no, there's nothing. There's nothing bad about those picks. You're set for next couple decades.
I mean, you asked me, I had to distill it down to 4. So there's a
I'm
lot
over
out
here-
there.
I'm
There's
over
a
here
lot
like,
out
will, I'm
there.
like, will my players like win, like other than Coco? Will my players win slams? I'm over here like that. You're just like, well, how many slams are they gonna win? Like you're set.
Yeah, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of how many, right?
Exactly. No, that's cool. But yeah, it'll be fun. Like we said, when we have the French Open predictions coming up in a few weeks here. Lou and I are also champions in our own right. Maybe not champions. I don't want to like put the cart before the horse, but our team, our Alta team, I think we're clinched playoffs, right?
Dude, you're asking the wrong person. I just show up and hit a ball. I barely remember the score. You're like, dang.
Yeah, I think we.
Yeah, I mean, I knew
I
we were like top 2. We've been top 2 this whole season,
except for the first week. But yes, I think we like after that first week came back and like we've been winning like either 4 or 5 lines. I think
that was
most
a bye
most
week,
weeks. I wasn't there that week, so. But no, I think I think we are like either first or second place, and I think we're second maybe. But I believe we've already faced like the higher ranked teams where like I think the team that is in first place this weekend, they go up against the number 3 team or something like that. And so like based off of the points, we would most likely 99% chance like make playoffs, I think. So I think we've like, it's fair to say we've clinched playoffs for our men's team, which is incredible. Cause I think the last time we've been to playoffs was that 2 or 3 years ago? Was that 3 years ago? Do you remember? Were you on the team then?
You're asking the wrong guy, man. You know, you have all these facts. I mean, I've only been with the team for what, a year and a half, maybe. Since I've been with the team, we've not been in playoffs, I don't think. So
I can remember when I brought you on.
I mean, not to say that I'm at fault.
I would have never said that, but you put it out there. We'll let the fans
I feel
decide.
somewhat responsible of the first season for sure.
So yeah, we're gonna make playoffs. Playoffs start next weekend, which is pretty cool, and maybe we'll win a plate. Maybe we'll be able to come back on the pod, have a special episode where we talk about this big dinner plate that we win. You know, or we come back and we talk about a first round crash out. But either or, we're gonna have a good story for you, y'all.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. If you follow us on social media, you'll be able to see some of the stuff that we do, some of the stuff that happens, like lanes fall when you play with me.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff.
We're always catching these things, man. There's always something funny and fun to happen.
Rack tennis is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm curious for you. What's the one thing that your opponent does that like fouls you up? Like you're playing a match against someone, Alta, USTA, whatever it is, but like your opponent does this on court and you're just like under your breath, kind of just like upset. Like what's that one thing for you?
You see, a lot of the anger that I feel on court, it has nothing to do with other people. It has always to do with me. I'm not very externally shakeable, I would say. So I don't know, man. I don't really care that much about what other people do. If I'm more concerned about, am I playing my game to my own expectations? And because I don't mind losing as long as I played well and I fought, you know what I mean? It's like, I guess this has nothing to do
never
with
got
other
in an
people.
argument with like another opponent or anything like that, or like.
I mean, we had a little bit of a situation a couple weeks back when I played with Lane, but I feel like, dude, I was enjoying my game so much. I didn't even want to get into it. I just gave him the point. It was kind of crap. Like I saw that ball and immediately they called it out. It was a bad line call. So I would say maybe a bad line call / just bad behavior, like a bad attitude. That would be like a really quick way for me to just get pissed off because, again, whatever they do is like everyone's so quirky and everyone's got like all these things. Like if they have a weird serve or they hit the forehand with 2 hands or, like whatever, they have to take bathroom breaks every 3 games, like, so be it. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, you know what I mean? So I can't really control any of that, so I don't really focus on it. But obviously, the two things that we interact with is I believe in fairness. And so if somebody's doing bat line calls, I mean, it happens, right? It's recreational tennis. So you cannot show up there expecting to have eagle eye and all this stuff. And there's going to be bad line calls. What do I do? Sometimes I call them in and it hurts me. But am I playing at such a high level where 2 points are going to make a difference? Probably not. So the way that I approached that last time that it happened, and I hadn't argued about a line call in seasons. I don't think ever. So this was the first time, I think, since I can remember, that I argued a line call, and I was like, I'm not gonna let this ruin my mojo. We beat those guys 6-2, 6-3. You think one line call was gonna derail me from, like, no, man, that train left the station. We were going. So I just said, you know what? Let's just keep going. Like, whatever. These guys are getting crushed one way or another. So um that was my thing. But if someone gets argumentative and they want to, I think that's mainly it. Like when they're just come off abrasive, and those guys, I knew it was kind of the heat of battle, and they later on like apologized and like, hey man, I'm sorry. Like we came off kind of strong, and we just kind of in the moment. I really saw that in. And I was like, I didn't even say it. That guy's ball was out, but it bounced within like 6 feet of my feet. Like, bro, you're across the court. Like, you really think you saw that?
Right.
But whatever. Again, like, not a huge deal. I have pretty thick skin when it comes to these things. A lot of the upsets, I mean, you've played with me. You see me. I've gotten super pissed off on court, but it has nothing to do with other people. It has everything to do with how I'm playing and how I'm playing and how I'm coming in as your teammate, as your partner. Am I carrying my own weight? Is your back breaking because you're having to lift me out of this hole that I just dug myself into?
Yeah.
So I guess that's a roundabout way of answering your question. How about you? What bothers you?
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like, to your point, there's definitely things that you can control on court, things you can't control. And so I've always been, as I was talking about, like Shelton, for example, like someone just to exude really positive energy on court. And even if I'm annoyed by something or upset by something, like I never show it, I think, sure, there are things like in my head, like, it was funny, we played last weekend. Our opponent it was probably like, I think we won the first set 6-4. I don't think you were asking about that match, by the way, but like we played really well that weekend and we won the first set 6-4. It was like everyone was like holding like serve basically until like 5-4. Our opponents were serving 4 or 5, I should say. And this guy who had like this massive serve was serving to like try to get it to 5-all. We broke him to win that first set. So like it felt like really good. Like that was like a solid way to win that set. And like second set, we kind of like were able to kind of like cruise a little bit more in the second set. So I think we were up like 5-2. And our opponents were about to serve. And our opponent's his partner, the person who wasn't serving, they went to sit down and his partner started like re-gripping his racket. So like he literally took like a 3 or 4 minute break and like took out new racket, new grip, like redoing it.
And the changeover at 5-2.
On the changeover at 5-2, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was like, sir, like your partner is about to serve to try to stay in this match. There's literally probably like 1 game left, maybe 2 games at most, and you're gonna sit here for 4
They're
minutes
trying to
and
freeze
like
you guys.
Yeah, but honestly, I mean, it froze his partner out because they got broken and we won. But it was kind of like a weird.
I've seen that happen though. It's hilarious.
I was like, what are you doing? I was like, is this like a tactic? And like, again, it doesn't necessarily like bother me, but it was more just like, what is going on? And so I'm like talking to like my partner Sam. I'm like, is he really doing this? This is weird. Like I've never seen that before. Well, that was just like one thing that kind of thought about. But I think for me, it's funny because like I get more hype when my opponents get loud. Because you know me, I'm like, I like to fist pump. I like to get loud on court. If someone else is like, I miss a shot or something like that, and they're like, come on, or like they yell because I like double or something like that, like I get riled up. I'm like, okay, that's how we're gonna do it. And then it's like a cheer off almost. I'm fist pumping just as loud as you are. I'm gonna like get the crowd hype, that sort of thing. So like that's probably the one thing. Like if I do start to hear that and they start, kind of chirping, like doing their thing, like I'm gonna like up my level even louder. So like that's probably the one thing I can.
That's not so bad. It's not super outly specific. I think it's we're I guess we both get bothered by more like demeanor than anything, right? Just like someone else's demeanor and kind of attitude towards the game and like the sport and all that. Because I feel like it just dampens like everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's obviously people who can just be like bad sports, but I try not to let it affect my game. I try to like make sure we're staying focused and keep I feel like my partners. You never know how they react in those situations, but try to just keep it level headed and just like focus on the tennis. Like, hey, I'm trying to hit this yellow ball. As hard as I can. Maybe not as hard as I can all the time, but I'm trying to like hit the cover off the ball or whatever, or like put this ball somewhere on the court in the blue, as we say, and just focus on that. But it is hard sometimes, especially if it's like an Alta playoff match or you're in an Alta final and it's like 95 degrees outside and you're tired or you're hungry or you're cranky. Like things happen, but I think the more reps that I've had on these rec tennis courts in these leagues and playing these competitive matches, like the more like level headed I've become over the years.
You just see so many things. It's like, well, there's nothing I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
I'm curious for the people that are listening and watching, like, what's one thing an opponent does that instantly like gets under your skin, and how do you typically handle it? I think we kind of talked about, for us, focus on what you can't control, right? But in the heat of the game, that's a lot easier said than done.
Yes, it really is. It really is. I got a spicy one for you, Lou.
Give it to me. What is it?
You're not like, oh, I don't want to know. Like, don't tell me.
Nah, bro. We like spicy around here. Spin the racket. We sometimes we get crazy.
We get crazy. Tennis folks get wild. You just never know. No, it's funny. I was I have a group chat with some friends, tennis, but also like non-tennis related. I had someone was like sent me like a screenshot, or maybe it was just like a tweet, because they went to Wake, and Wake Forest men's team won the NCAA championship last year in 2025, and as part of that, for most NCAA champions, they get to visit the White House, and so they get invited by whoever's in office to visit the White House and get honored. And so I had some friends from Wake kind of send me the tweet of like their tennis team, going to the White House, taking a picture with Trump. The Georgia women's team won the NCAA championship in 2025, and so they also got the honor to go to the White House to visit, and their photo has gone viral on the internet, where it's basically, we can show an overlay here online for the viewers, but basically it's the Georgia women's tennis team. Somewhat, I'm curious how you describe it, Lou, but it's somewhat kind of hidden, crouched behind a row of 6 men, Trump in the center, and then the other 5 staffers / coaches on the team. And it's just gotten so much controversy where like they're just like, a picture's worth 1,000 words. I think like somewhat like Martina Navratilova mentioned that, and then the people just like commenting and chirping like little stuff like on the tweet, but just saying just like, okay, yeah, this is how you celebrate women's sports, right? You put them in front and center, like the non-players in the picture. It's so interesting to see like tennis kind of just like blow up in that way. I'm curious, like, did you see that, or like, what are your thoughts on that photo?
Well, let me answer your question by asking you a question. Do you think that was intentional, or do you think it's just kind of like it just is what it is? We not like no one noticed that in the moment. No one that was there noticed that, and then it just kind of became like viral because that's just how society is. Or is it something that you think was intentional?
I don't know. Phil, you should answer first.
I think that's just the way things are. I mean, for context, I saw this photo and read this article right before this episode. And I know you were kind of, briefing me on it while I was trying to find the photo. And then I see the photo and I just go, oh, that was my first reaction. I just, I see. I see what's happening here. Right. So I think we can all know, we can all understand that. Yeah,
What do you
I
mean?
mean,
What's
it's
happening here?
unfortunate. I just think it's like a poor arrangement, but it also gives me it gives me bro vibes, which again, like the men sitting in the front are literally like your quintessential hands clasped, like one in front of the other. Like it is such a dude photo. And so, to my point, I don't know that was intentional. Obviously, like the people were arranged in that order, but I don't think that anybody was intentionally trying to put the women behind the men and trying to make some sort of like send some sort of message. I just think that is the current state of kind of society and where we live. And it's a pretty like bro representation of it. If
Like
that
in
makes
terms of
sense.
like the women crouching behind the men.
Yeah, like it just kind of being like an afterthought.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I was looking at the men's photo from Wake, and obviously it's. I wonder if I don't know the full staff of the men's tennis team, if it's all men, and then they're kind of like interspersed in that picture versus like just all players. But yeah, it didn't have that same like look optically, you know. Um, but I do think whoever was taking that picture probably just seemed out of touch, you know. And like, I mean,
Right.
in any scenario, it just makes sense to have the honorees, the award winners, whoever, front and center, you know. But like, yeah, in this photo, obviously it's completely reversed, and even like the men are just standing tall in front, and the other women literally crouched behind. It's just such a weird look.
And that's the thing, right? We can all try to make assumptions of what happened here, but it's just a photo. It's like it's a moment frozen in time. And so I'm always like of the thought of let's not count you guilty unless you're charged, like kind of thing. So I forget what the saying is, but in this case, I feel like we're missing a bit of context. If you look at the photo, you can now see that there's only a small platform where people can get onto. So I wonder if it was one of those things where like, hey, let's give the ladies the platform, and like that was the approach is like, hey, we're going to put the ladies in the platform. And could it be that, because I imagine this is not the only photo that they took with President Trump. So it's like, was it one of those things where maybe, because you see him situated there, it looks like that photo was set up for him to take the photo with them, not the guys in the front. Could it be one of those things where, hey, he took a photo with them, they were already in the platform, and they say, hey guys, come back for a photo, and then they just kind of happen to stand in front? I'm more
Yeah,
inclined to think that way.
it could
Because,
be.
when these things happen, he could have had a photo with just the guys. He could have had a photo with the girls. And then, but, the funny thing is that the one that actually ends up making it to social media and goes viral is the one that just kind of has a weird message. So
Do
I
you
would be
think
surprised if this was the only photo from that
that's a
moment.
good theory? There could be more, and I think what we've seen though is that the only ones that have come out are the one with just the women front and center without Trump, and then the other photo is the one with Trump with all the guys and the women. So I don't know if there was one, to your point, that the one that you're talking about of Trump and just the women or not. Like that hasn't been released to my knowledge. So who knows? If that was the case, yeah, it looks a lot better, right?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, if you've ever been in a wedding, right, and when they try to take a photo with like the bride and the groom, it's always like difficult to arrange people. And then you have like, hey, let's take a photo of just the girls, and then let's take a photo of just the guys, and then let's take a photo together. And everyone always ends up a little bit scrambled up. I
Hmm.
wonder if that was what was happening in this situation. I could see it where it's
Yeah.
just like, but then again, you think of like, I mean, the level of people that should be behind this camera organizing these people. I don't
Yeah.
know how much. attention to detail or care do they have, or did they even think it was like a big deal or not?
Yeah, yeah. No, it is pretty interesting, and I feel like it's just so many funny like little like quips have come out of it. Where just people are just like, yeah, oh, are the women back there somewhere? Oh yeah, I think I see them like in the corner here. It's just like, obviously,
for
you know,
sure.
you know how it
No.
works when things go viral like that.
This picture is very roastable for
Yeah,
sure. I mean,
everyone
there's
just
there's a lot to pick at here, but it's like it feels almost like one of those like psychology photos, where it's like, hey, tell me what do you see here, and it's like, we could sit here and you could go through like 1,000 people, and everyone's going to see something different.
Yep, yep.
So a lot of things can be taken out of context when you look at just a photo, but I mean, again, like it screams like, dude. It's like, do you prioritize the women because you put them on a pedestal, or do you prioritize the men because they're further or closer to the camera? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
The in our group chat like that, this one wasn't as like debatable. The debate that was in our group chat was, would you go to the White House or not for this?
100%. Why not? I mean, I think it's like you won something and they want to celebrate you and they want to like bring you to the White House. I mean, I've been in front of the White House, but going inside would be pretty cool too. Just get a full tour of it, dude, it's got to be way cooler to go as like, hey, I want something, and then you get the full, experience than like as anybody else just standing outside like, oh, that's the White House. I took a photo in front of it. So yeah, 100%.
Okay. And that was part of the debate. We had friends kind of on both camps. So like, yeah, some like you have just like, yeah, it's an honor to go, and I think they said like they won. They won and kind of did everything to get to that point. So it's like an honor for them as a team to do that. And then other friends who were just like, there's no way. And obviously this has to do with who's in the office too, but like, there's no way I'm going to the White House with Trump and taking this picture. It's just like what he's synonymous with, what the movement is for, like then kind of bringing the politics to it. And so it's kind of a fun debate because, to your point, there is this side that has like they're honoring the achievement, there's respect for the office, the White House, what that symbolizes, but then the other side of just like, wait, who is this person who you're going to take this picture with? Like, what does that mean? What are the optics of that? And like, that's kind of like the fun group chat talk right now, basically.
Yeah. Which camp are you in?
I'm in the camp of I would be honored for the invitation and to be part of that, but I would not go to the White House for this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it just depends. Again, a picture could be a million words, but so, a question can also be taken in many different ways, right? Because the question is, would you go to the White House if you won a double an NCAA championship, right? So it's like,
or would you go? Would you go to this? Like, would you be in this situation of like being in that?
Well,
picture?
that's what I'm saying, guy. Could you like, let's say you're a college player, can you rewind time and go back to go to the past 10 years and then win during that year?
What year? Oh, you're saying like if
under
it's
a
like
different presidency. You know what I mean? Like you can't you're only in college 4 years, and you were born in a year, and you can't really control that. So it's like, do you choose to celebrate your win? And this is something that happens to every player or every winner every year. And you accept that as a reward, or did you choose to then be like, oh well, during these 4 years, this is the precedent, and I don't know. I think it's just kind of like, if I can't rewind time, I can't change who they are and all that stuff. So it's like, I think regardless of who is in presidency, it's like it's an honor to go to the White House, and it happens every year, regardless of who the president is. So
yeah,
I don't know.
So we hear your camp and kind of where you are. I think it's fun. It's a fun debate, and I'd love for like our listeners to weigh in, and we'll probably post a clip on Instagram. But it's like, if you were given the honor, if your team won the NCAA championship for whatever sport, and you give the honor to go to the White House and take a picture and celebrate, would you say yes or would you say no? And this we'll say like in this year, right? Like just currently, would you have gone to the White House as the Georgia women and the Wake Forest men did for tennis? I'm very curious to hear all the responses, and not to be like super political. Obviously, there is like naturally, I mean, it's just like life, so like it just makes for like a fun debate. So I'm just kind of curious to see where people land.
Yeah, so am I. Well, guys, that's the episode. So, I think we've come to the end of the episode. I'd like to see also what, just like you and I picked 4 players that we're rooting for on tour, it could be men and women. Like, I'd like to see people drop their fantasy squad picks in the comments and tell us who they drafted, for those 4 players across the ATP and the WTA.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. And we're gonna have a mailbag episode coming up soon. So we want to hear from you. Send us all of your questions.
Yeah, it could be anything. So talk about league drama, double strategy, gear that you like, gear that you don't, how to handle bad line calls, just like we talked about, pro tour takes, whatever we're dealing with this week or whatever you're dealing with this week. Just shoot us some questions, topics, ideas, whatever's on your mind.
Yeah. Put it in the comments, DM to us, whatever is easiest, and we'll pull out the best questions and cover it on our next episode here. So it'll be exciting.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to Spin the Racket. I'm Lou,
and I'm G. Keep on spinning.